Welcome to The Glass Ceiling, the podcast where business leaders share their stories, struggles and triumphs.
There is a lot in that. There's a lot of learning.
We sort of had different views on how the business should be ran.
The next 10 years looks like for South Australia.
Startup's the easiest.
I'm your host, Marissa Hankinson from Wavebreaker, and I'm passionate about amplifying their voices. Join me as we explore the highs and lows of innovation, entrepreneurship and leadership. From founders to CEOs, our guests will share their insights, experiences and advice on how to succeed and make a lasting impact. Get ready for inspiring conversations and valuable lessons. Let's shatter the glass ceiling, one story.
Want your own video podcast? Or just ready to get in front of the right audience?
At Wavebreaker Productions, we specialise in full-service video podcast production and guest appearance and PR services.
We help business owners, experts, and change makers show up with confidence on camera and on the mic.
From filming and editing to distribution and promotion, we handle it all, so you can focus on your message.
Whether you're launching your own show or looking to appear on aligned podcasts, we'll help you get seen, heard, and remembered.
This is more than a podcast. It's your platform.
Helping you be seen, heard, and remembered.
Find out more at wavebreakerproductions.com.
Joining me today is Bram Lagrou, a Belgian-born psychologist, business strategist. Get my teeth in, literally. And founder of Lagrou Partners. Bram works closely with senior executives in professional services, finance and tech to help them engage in their teams and boost revenue, often in as little as 3 to 12 months. Short turnaround, we like that. Before making the move to Australia in 2010, Bram led international training programs at a Fortune 500 country, working across 25 countries. He mentored countless teams, helping them grow profits while creating positive workplace culture. Personal development is huge to Bram, and I know that because I've known you for quite a while. And he's been trained by the likes of Brian Tracy, Brendan Bouchard, and even had Rob Chapman as a coach during a pivotal phase in his career. He now collaborates with global thought leader, Dr. John Demartini. Bram's known for his motivating style, deep psychological insights, and innovative approach. When he's not working with his clients, he's a long-distance runner. And I know they're like ridiculous distances. Wave rider, book lover, and a family man. And we are looking forward to having you on The Glass Ceiling. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hey, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. So I think I'm going to find out some things about you that I didn't know today, because we've known each other for probably about 10, 11 years.
Probably, yeah.
You got here just a couple of years before me. So I think I was 2012, you were 2010?
2010, that's right, yeah.
Yeah. So tell me first off, what brought you to Australia?
It wasn't the job and it wasn't business, so it was love at the time.
Oh, it was love. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And did you work in Belgium?
I worked in Belgium as a regional European sales manager.
Yep.
Looking after 15 countries. And then I met this lady while doing an expo in Spain.
Yep.
She was from North Adelaide. We got together. We went back and forth between her then residence and mine. And then, after a while, I said, hey, I had enough of this long commute.
And it is a long commute.
It is.
And are you still together? Or is
We're
this?
not.
Oh, gosh.
We're
okay.
friends, though.
Okay, that's good to know. Good to know. And I know you have found love now. And you're happy and you've got bambinos and things like that. So that's good to know.
That's why they took Mrs. 1 for Mrs. 2, who's the right one.
Okay, we don't usually talk about personal stuff, so I feel like we've gone down a path that's fine. That's absolutely fine. So tell me a little bit about, you came for love, but what happened when you first arrived here? Did you have a job lined up? Did you do the whole something will crop up? Did you do hospitality? What did you do when you first got here?
Well, first time before I came, in the lead up to it, I did reach out to organizations that I felt, I could see myself working there.
Good alignment?
So that was mainly real estate, businesses, luxury cars, and just the high-end sort of products and services that I was going for. That didn't eventuate. And then as soon as I landed here, I was like, well, what am I going to do? And I was like, well, I've been a sales manager for a long time. I know how to train people, as you just said. I've done a lot of training over many countries, and I figured I'll just go and start up my own business. And it was really without any thought, really, no prep. Just let me just do something that I already know doing. And especially I felt that some of the organizations could benefit from the Fortune 500 training that I had undergone.
And also the global, interesting enough, you said like 15 countries. Everything is a different culture, a different approach. And sometimes that's very different when you come to Australia because they don't necessarily have that experience as such. But there is a lot of emotional intelligence. There's other things that come part of the sales process. The nuances of that. So when you came over here, did you have a business owner visa or how are you over here? This sounds really weird, but
thanks to the missus, it was a spouse visa.
Okay.
We were meant to get married and obviously something happened then. But yeah, look, as soon as we broke up, I stayed. By that time, I had a franchise from Tracy that I purchased.
Yeah.
I was committed. I was like,
I'm in.
Like, my ego didn't want to go back and pack up and say, hey, mom and dad, I'm back here. It didn't work.
It doesn't work. It's not an option because, as soon as you get on the phone to family and friends, you know that they're just going to say, come home. And to you, that's not an option. And it's actually not what you want to hear either.
True.
So did you have any barriers? So you set up Lagrou Partners near enough as soon as you arrived in country.
Yep.
Did you have any barriers coming from a different country?
Oh, absolutely. Like you can imagine Adelaide being the little town it really is, where everything is tight-knit, very community-oriented, where relationships that go multiple generations, they're very important. Breaking in, I mean, you've come from overseas, so you know how it is. Breaking into what's already there. First two questions, where do you live? Who did you go to school with? And I couldn't really say, well, I don't really live in a fancy house because I was basically broke at the time. Secondly, then the schooling, well, it never happened here. So I had no references. So I had to really go the hard yards. And the first 2 years were darn hard.
Yeah, you literally went on that cold calling, knocking on doors, which, roll your sleeves up. we like this. Get a bit nitty and gritty, but it's true. And then that probably, the fact that you are successful here in Australia and you now actually work globally too. So you've gone from Belgium global to Australia global. But I want to know about the Brian Tracy, because that's when I first met you with the Brian Tracy. So yes, you did the hard yards with the cold calling, knocking on doors, those kind of things. But what made you decide to buy a franchise? Was it the credibility of having Brian Tracy behind you? What was your motivations?
It's a great question, actually. Not many people have asked me, but in hindsight, I think it was thinking that I wasn't good enough. That's really my truthful answer. Thinking that I needed an international, reputable name and brand behind me to actually kind of make my offering attractive enough to buy. But that's only in hindsight. So at the time I thought, credibility, I'll do it. But I have to say, like I started the business kind of in a whim, that Brian Tracy thing came about the same way because I just did my research about who else is doing what I want to do. But then Andrew, who was then running Brian Tracy at the time, amongst many others, and I was like, this guy, he's good. He knows selling.
So
he's got great programs.
Did you have that, I want to be where he is? Did you have that kind of view?
It was rather, Marissa, something like, I can either compete with this guy or going to work with this guy. And I chose the latter.
Yeah, and sometimes that's good. It's better collaboration or what do you call it? Coopetition, is it? Rather than co-op. Hang on. It's a word that I think I've made up. I'm going to lie.
I like it. Let's go for it.
So it's not competition. It's coopetition in that you can work alongside somebody or with somebody. And let's be really honest, the pie's big enough for everybody.
Absolutely. Plenty of work done. Plenty of work out there.
So what was your first client for Lagrou Partners? Can you remember?
Oh, you're going to love this one.
Okay.
A dating coach.
A dating coach?
A dating coach who needed a sales process to sign people up. That was my very first.
But you weren't her first client, were you?
No.
That's okay.
No. never had any issues with that sort of stuff. Good. As I can sell myself too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so she was my first. My second one was a mortgage broker. So I went from one person or a one-man band to 5 people.
Yeah.
And then my third client was a builder, Quattro.
Oh, I know Quattro. Yeah.
So that was my first 3.
Yeah. And how long were you working with Quattro? Because Quattro aren't around anymore.
Unfortunately, COVID took its toll on them with fixed contracts and skyrocketing prices for materials and shortage of labor.
It's not been everyone thinks it's this boom time, and it's actually a bottomless profit, to be really honest. It's an empty profit. But everybody has the wrong perception and what's been happening in the building construction. So yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So you did the Brian Tracy, but you talked about the fact that you are big into personal development. So you really do practice what you preach.
How's that?
Yeah, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
So Brian Tracy, you did that franchise. I'm assuming as part of that franchise, you got all the training in Brian Tracy, etc.
Yep.
But you named some pretty big, in that bio at the start of this season, you named some big coaches. So how did you get involved with them? Was it a knocking on the door again?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Look, networking and cold calling. Those are 2 skills that I think I've really learned to master over the time. By just doing it, right? Just doing it and figuring out what works, what doesn't work. And then, of course, doing training and on top of that. But yeah, look, Rob Chapman, I heard him speak at an event. I really liked what he was about. And every time I caught myself, when I mentioned his name, people spoke very respectfully about him, even people that worked in the organizations that he, was a senior leader in. So one day I just asked him, hey, Rob, we should have a coffee. He said, yes. And I basically asked him after a half an hour or so, I said, look, I did have a reason why I called you. I'm looking for a mentor, somebody who can show me how to do things. And I really respect what you're doing. And I wonder, do you know anyone, or would you personally be available? And he said at the same time, at that end of that meeting, he said, you know what, Bram, kudos to you, because you came prepared and you knew exactly what you wanted and you got it. And so,
which is a very good principle of selling.
Yeah, that's it.
If you don't ask, you don't get.
That's it. So that's how I started with him. Demartini was very different though. My wife, Andrea, had always been a big fan of his work. I didn't know it until she mentioned it to me. Then I started looking into it because obviously happy wife, happy life. So you got to know what she's in and what's important to her. I started to really see why she liked it as much. So I went to Melbourne, attended one of his speeches after I read 2 or 3 books of his. And I observed what was happening with his sales in the back end. And I was like, I can see an opportunity here.
Oh, so you like the process behind?
Well, I thought I could help him.
Oh, okay.
And so I approached him afterwards and I let everybody go first and have their say. And then I stayed up until the end. I was very clear about what I wanted to say to him and how I knew it would hit him, like resonate with him. And I said, look, I've seen that this is what you do. And this is where I think you could do a lot more with your sales. And I wonder, would you be open to having a conversation at another time? So it was very short.
Yeah.
But I left him with something. And that started a relationship. And soon before we knew, we were like, he was basically on my stage twice, flew in from Melbourne and Sydney and presented for half a day to my audience and added value to them as leaders and salespeople. And that was great. So, and since then we've been keeping in touch. Recently I caught up with him for lunch in Melbourne, been on his ship, met Gina Reinhardt there while I was there. So it was good networking.
Yes, very. If you had to recommend a book from his, or actually no, because I'm gonna flip this. If you had to recommend one book that you think may have changed, because you're into your personal development, and is there that one book that you go, that's the one?
Yeah, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah,
my number one, absolutely, and has been for easily 10 years.
And you turned into an author yourself.
Yes.
How many books have you written now?
2 myself, and then a third one co-authored.
Okay.
And that's a bestseller.
Oh, okay. Go on, pray tell. What is it? You can plug on this show. I don't mind.
That one is called Live with Purpose, co-authored with Pat Mesiti and Alan Short, who I think you know as well. and a few other people. So that one is basically talking about personal development matters more so, whilst the previous 2 books that I did on my own are very specific. One is for salespeople that are more in a complex B2B environment.
Yeah, that really long sales life cycle, multiple touch points.
Yep.
Big process. Yep.
That's it. So engineers, bank, like finance, commercial, that sort of stuff. Definitely that. Second one is more, I want to do, Andrea has been always in my ear, whispering, as good wives always do, saying that, hey, you got to broaden out. You can't just keep always focusing on salespeople and leaders. You got to make your stuff available to more people. I was like, well, I can do something around communication, because humans working with other people, we can all benefit from better communication, especially if certain people we work with or live with, we're really having a hard time with it. If I can bring my psychology to them and give them a crash course or a book that teaches them how to read people and how to relate with them so that they get better outcomes together, well, that's a win-win-win for everyone. So yeah, I wrote that book. It's been very well received from people that are very senior all the way to people that are very junior and anyone in between. And so it's kind of hit its sweet spot.
Yeah, which is what you intended. And people, I find that I don't like it when people say, well, it's the sales team's responsibility for sales. It's everybody within a company, from the receptionist to the CEO, everybody has a role in selling. Every touch point is an opportunity to reinforce that potential clients or clients have made the right decision.
Absolutely.
In working with, even, responding or the finance department, whatever it may be, it has to be within the whole organization. So I definitely can understand why that communication book touched where it needed to. So
I'm fully resonating with you. I think the challenge, though, is that I find that not many people have that mindset. But what if they did?
Yeah, you could just think of the limits that you could reach.
Absolutely.
Well, actually, the limit's the wrong word, actually, because.
But also as a personal brand, within a brand, how much more valuable do you become if you subscribe to the notion that, hey, if I can give more value through more clients to the business that I work for, I personally become more valuable.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah. And I think that I always look at it in that if you give, then the gains that you get could be job security, career progression. That can help. Higher pay. It can help in your personal life. It is a very, very holistic approach. But as you say, people can sometimes go, I'm back office, and don't think they can make a difference.
It's not part of my job description. Hello. In today's age where, jobs come and go and opportunities come and go and AI is coming in, it's revolutionizing the world.
Yeah.
You got to find ways to be more valuable to an organization that is hiring you and employing you and keeping you.
Yes.
So that mindset that you just said, I think is such a good opportunity for everyone.
Yeah. Maybe that's the takeaways that people take away from the podcast. But what I did want to ask is, you are here in Adelaide. You obviously travel. So whereabout do you operate now? I know that you're always going off somewhere. Yep. You mentioned that you do some events.
Yep.
So let's talk about that, because it feels like you are on that trajectory of, books, writing, keynote speaking, making a difference to global organizations.
Yes, that's where my heart is. That's where my passion is. So yes, well picked up. So look, right now, Communication Mastery, which is our signature course, we've decided to take it around. In the last years, it was only in Adelaide. Now we've been already to Sydney. We've been to Melbourne. We wanted to try out Brisbane. That didn't quite work out. We've taken it to Perth. And I now have even Paris on the map, already with a date and time next year. So I'm taking it to Paris. We also have an event called The Edge that is for senior leaders and change makers, the ones that are bold and dare, who are visionaries and really want to create a lasting legacy and making a difference in the world. So we bring these people together once a year. In July is Thailand. So this year we decided on Thailand. We kind of rotate.
Yep.
Previous year we were in Malaysia, in Penang. That was fun. Year before we were in Fiji. Year before we were in Cairns, just coming out of COVID, and where the jabs were still on, and some people weren't jabbed, couldn't fly
just
internationally.
too hard. Yeah.
So we decided something close by. But yeah, those are the events that we do. Other than that, keynote speeches, I do quite a few of them, more and more actually, for local, national, or international organizations. We do a lot of Zoom-related training for some of our multinational companies where we train their whole sales teams, some of which have people in 15 countries, and we've trained all of them. So we're not always on the ground.
No.
But we've been on the ground with many of them, for sure. And what else do we got on? Just thinking if there's any other international stuff on the horizon right now. We're still working on something with a group of entrepreneurs and senior leaders in Malaysia, but hasn't really eventuated yet. So it's just talk at this stage.
It will.
Absolutely, yeah.
I have 100% faith that it will. So what size is the group partners?
It's actually us. Right now, it's me and my wife as the group, associated with 2 partners that are running their own show as well. But we are actually now in the process of merging with a new brand.
Exciting.
It's early days, so can't say too much about it yet, but Alan Short is part of that team. We call ourselves the Musketeers internally. Yeah,
the 3 Musketeers.
Which means, yes, we're in it together. We're there to, make a difference together. And then Anita Schneider from Teams on Purpose. So that's us 3. Yeah. We really want to work more collaboratively in that space. I actually want to borrow your word. What was it again?
Co-opetition.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Maybe. You can borrow it.
That one. But look, that's really where we're at. I've had in the past a desire to grow the team. But the challenge, Marissa, in all honesty, that I found was very often people would say, hang on, is it you going to be doing it or someone else? And as soon as I said someone else, it kind of took their interest away.
Well, you talked about building a personal brand and people want Bram.
That's what I found.
Yeah. So trying to dilute that or transfer that onto other people, even though they may have the great mindset, they're not going to have the knowledge and the experience that you can bring. And that's what they're really buying into. So obviously, Alan and Anita have got their own skills and strengths and personal brands that they can bring in.
And complementary.
Yeah.
It's beautifully complementary. So that's what I felt. That's what I found. So a previous group that I developed across Australia and New Zealand, it wasn't meant to last. It tanked pretty quickly. Yeah. Yeah. So we learn and go. And, sometimes here's the other thing. I sometimes think that there's vanity in certain numbers with marketing, which I know that is another thing.
Yeah. Ego.
There's sometimes vanity in thinking that size of a business is everything. The good news is in the educational space is that certain small teams become really big. Mm-hmm. And then the question is, what's the purpose? Is it the purpose of getting big as a group, or is it the purpose to change lives of many people that are your audience and your clients? Well, if I'm honest with it, I don't necessarily want a huge team.
No.
I want to change lives. And I enjoy the process of doing it myself. I'm happy to do the doing rather than have other people doing and me managing in the background.
Yes.
So again, I'm honest with myself.
So we talked about mindset, we've talked about AI, and we've talked about sales. So what do you think the impact on AI is going to be in sales environment, sales processes? What impact do you think? We just talked about teams and growing teams. What do you think? Have you got any thoughts on what is going to happen in the next, I'm going to say 5 years, but I actually think I should say 18 months, but.
That's it, exactly. It's just
fast.
Short and it's too so quick, yeah. Look, we've been working with AI for 5 years in our sales, specifically from a sales perspective and a marketing angle. We have seen that through the tools that we adopted, one of which is a software, that our clients gone basically from strength to strength with their sales conversions, some of which have gone to 95% with tenders. Try to do that. That was already with 5 years ago with the AI that we had at the time. Imagine now what it's going to do next. It's going to help every single professional, but definitely salespeople, just get more done with less time. Work smarter. That's really what it's doing.
But I was going to say controversially that your clients who've been working with AI for a number of times through the software platforms, etc., that you've been working on in the processes, they've been ahead of the curve.
Absolutely.
But their competition probably is a bit fast on their tails at the moment in adopting the AI, where that probably wasn't something that was on their radar as part of their build.
You're right.
Their strength.
But I think the biggest opportunity in sales land that I see across industries is that AI only does certain aspects well. And then like the human connection, that piece, which in Australia, human connection is like very important for 70% of the people. Like we know the data. We work with data. We make data led decision making. I even work with marketing teams using data to have better impactful messages in marketing. But in sales, it's the same thing. And I think the challenge that I see that sometimes people do is they use AI somewhere as part of their marketing and sales mix. But then it falls over. It's like you generate the lead, for example, with the help of AI. But then how is the customer experience once they start talking to a human? Once they start getting emails, once they go through a process that is designed, ideally speaking, to convert. Well, it falls over very easily there. And so if you start from lead gen all the way through conversions, then the question is, are you using AI to your best of your abilities across the whole spectrum? But also add the human intelligence to it, as in emotional intelligence.
Because really you can use AI to shorten the sales life cycle or build those efficiencies in. And you have to train your people to utilize what AI can do for them and add value. And the output, as you said, it's going to take less time. That means there's bigger capacity. They're not writing tenders for months, weeks, wherever it might be. That means there's going to be more opportunity for growth.
Absolutely. I'm excited about this stuff. I seriously am, but people communicate either effectively or not. And most of us, just by the sheer way that we are programmed, we communicate in ways that alienate easily 25 to 75% of the people that we talk to, depending on our profile. Now, if you think about those numbers, that's huge.
And are you a fan of the DISC profile, or are you a bit more advanced than that? Do you there's so many of these things around at the moment. But is it still that traditional DISC profile, building those connections and rapport and identifying the type of person that you're talking to?
Yep, there is a bit of that. I just think that sometimes when people say, is it DISC? And then you say yes, they think, I know what you mean. Guess what? Most people don't understand.
Oh my gosh, it is so multifaceted, multi-layered. I think they probably know, they've probably been DISC profiled at this level. But the depth of it is...
That's it. I mean, yes, there's the understanding bit, but then it's like, what do you do with that knowledge that he or she is such and such? What do you do with it? Practically, what do you do differently to get better results? Ultimately, in marketing, you can measure how impactful a marketing campaign is. Sales, you can see how much you convert out of every 10. It all is feedback that you either listen to or you keep thinking in the old school traditional way, which is, sales is a numbers game. Yes, you need leads.
But you can also help.
That's it.
There's quality of leads, and there's also ways that you can improve your conversion.
Exactly. And that's where I see that most people scratch the surface with any model, whether it's DISC or HPDI or, TMS or whatever they use. I don't care really. I love DISC. Absolutely. I'm a big fan. But my method changes everything for all of the teams we work with. Example, 10 months in working with a manufacturer, they were on track for 18% growth year on year. With us, 41.
Great.
10 months in, the year is not even done yet. They're already at 41% growth. These sorts of stats we produce everywhere where we go, whether they're manufacturers, finance, engineers, accountants. Like, you can so turbocharge it if you like, but It needs practice, rehearse, and drill. You need to understand and practice, rehearse, and drill. Make it practical. What do you do with it?
Yeah. And how many people, when you go into organizations, and you talked about data, and I'm a big fan of data. It's part of me that's very, I say it's my geeky, nerdy bit. I like to track everything, measure everything. I like data. It can tell a story.
Absolutely.
That is very, very different to what a human may tell you. And especially with sales. You're saying this, but this is what this is showing. And sometimes there's big gaps. But how many times you go into organizations and you think they have a lack of understanding around their data? If you ask them these questions, is that in itself a wake-up call for them?
Oh, yeah. It's funny how you ask, Marissa, because I just got back from a meeting with a CMO, so Chief Marketing Officer, and her team. And I notice every time when I bring this, the way that I look at it, from a ex-psychologist, ex-sales manager, and then a consultant who's now done, consulting for like over 20 years. 15 years. That's right. If I coming from that angle, I notice like every time I make people see DISC in such a different way. And back to your question of the data, when you look at data, a marketing person is trained to think in sociographics, demographics, and all of that, and then marketing avatars. Then I say, but hang on, here's a text. Here's another text. Here's another text. It's the same stuff from your website, but I've scripted it differently. Which one do you resonate with? I say, I really like that one. Okay, great. I knew that because this is your profile.
But what about the other customers or potential customers that get the other three?
Bingo, because if you throw out bait to catch a whiting, you're not going to catch a shark. And that's exactly the same with words, with messaging, with communication. It either lands with the right audience or it doesn't. And I think that's where so much opportunity is missed. Leads go to waste.
Yes.
Things don't convert. You spend all that money to get the inquiry, to get the interest, to make your brand, to generate goodwill and so on. And then so much money is just wasted. So this one that I'm going to ask, because I think it will help me. I never think a no is a no. I think at some point you can always either go back, revisit. We've got to shake hands here, Marissa. You speak my language. Well, it's true. It might not be just a not yet. It could be the wrong decision. There's so many things that can go beyond behind the scenes that you're not aware of. But if one of those things corrects itself, so for me, talking about leads going to waste, I feel like a no is never truly a no. Absolutely. But there's so many that just get put in the trash can. And you're like, what are you doing? That's gold. Don't leave it there. I agree. You're right. It's a no. Look, I keep going back to the same models, and I like dumbing things down so that people quickly get their head around where the opportunity is. If you just look at the way our brains are shaped, there's a thing called the brain elevator. I'm not talking elevator pitch. No. The brain elevator. I created the concept. It goes back to neuroscience, where you got 3 levels in the brain. The most primitive, most ancient, the most archaic part of the brain is the crocodile brain or the reptilian brain. We know it. It's basically where the fight, flight, and freeze lives, which means if we have a potential opportunity with a new person want to work with our business, they can either feel safe with us or feel threatened by us. Yep. When there's a threat, depending on where people sit on the disc style, they're either fight, flight, or freeze. It's predictable and it's preventable. This is the key, the 2 Ps, predictable and preventable. If I, for example, notice that somebody feels uncomfortable with social chit chat, why would I enforce that on them when I like it? It's not about me. It's about the audience. I won't do anything that makes them feel uncomfortable. That's the right way to treat them, in my view. Let's just say that we've done well. We've made them feel comfortable. There's no threat. Now the brain elevator goes up a level. Now we're in the limbic system. we say, we should build trust and rapport with people. The question is, how do you do it? Because what works for one won't work with another person. So trust and rapport is, again, predictable. How you can make them feel that you're trustworthy or not. Example, if I'm going in, looking after my own pocket, trying to get money from you at your expense, you'll feel it.
Oh, you'll sense
and rightfully feel. Yeah, rightfully too. You might be a really master manipulator, but sooner or later, somebody will find you out.
Yeah.
Right? Once again, people have this as part of their human engineering, and you can either work with it or you can work against it. Too many people think that trust, you build it the same way with everyone. No, you don't. You got to read your audience, give them a treatment that suits them, and as they do, they feel comfortable. Level 1 gets a seal of approval, tick. Level 2 gets a seal of approval. Only now do you go to the penthouse, level 3, the neocortex, where people actually genuinely consider your value proposition. Now, where do people sometimes go wrong? They start selling before they even have made people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Or they start talking about price before even people are open
right up
to
there
it.
at the top.
Exactly. Or from an employee's perspective, they start trying to sell people on why they should work at the business, and they haven't really got the people yet in the right sweet spot in the brain. People need to read people, and so human psychology can help you to build rapport, trust, goodwill, a desire to work together, a desire to help you out if help is what you seek, a lot quicker. But people don't think this way until somebody like me teaches them how.
And that gives me a really good opportunity to say, how do people get in touch with you?
LinkedIn is a great platform. I'm personally there. You don't speak to any of my VAs or anything. I'm there. So hit me up. My website, I have one for individuals that are growth-minded. That's bramlagrou.com. And my corporate business that is working with teams and does a lot of bespoke work at a higher level is then lagroupartners.com, which is what you alluded to, which is our consulting business. So we got those two that speak, obviously, that are catered for two different audiences.
And then watch this space, because we may get you back on in a couple of seasons, because there's going to be a new brand.
That's right, yes. With the two other musketeers.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Well, I wish yourself, Andre, and the other two musketeers all the very best for the future. And thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I really
You're welcome.
It.
Thank
was
you.
Fun.
Tuning in to this episode of The Glass Ceiling. If you've liked what you heard, please subscribe, as we'd love to have you as part of our community. We're grateful to our guests for sharing their inspiring stories and insights with us. This podcast was brought to you by Wavebreaker. Join us next time as we shatter the glass ceiling, one story at a time.